It's Tuesday, November 26th, 2024. I have my voice back. I think the lawfare is over for now, and why nuclear war might not be a bad thing. Next on the AM Update. So after all that, it's over. Special counsel Jack Smith moved to abandon 2 criminal cases against Donald Trump on Monday, acknowledging that Trump's return to the White House will preclude attempts to federally prosecute him for retaining classified documents or trying to supposedly overturn the 2020 election. The decision was inevitable since long-standing Justice Department policy says sitting presidents cannot face criminal prosecution, yet it was still a momentous finale to an unprecedented chapter in political lawfare as federal officials attempted to hold accountable a former president, their version of events, while he was simultaneously running for a second term. Of course, that's their view of things. They were just trying to hold him accountable. No, they weren't. This was all, they were using the judicial system to politically prosecute and criminally prosecute, but politically prosecute one of their chief political rivals. Just absolutely disgusting stuff. Later on in the day, Judge Tanya Chutkan, she is one of the worst judges, having to do with all of Trump's lawfare, J6, what have you. She indeed obliged and dismissed, at the behest of special counsel Jack Smith, she dismissed those 2 cases against Donald Trump. So after all of that lawfare, after all of that, it's just over. It's just over. I guess he wasn't really a threat to democracy. I guess he really wasn't literally Hitler. I guess it really wasn't that big of a deal after all, because they're just done now. Oh, no, it's a Department of Justice procedure. We can't indict a sitting president of the United States. Oh, but you can indict a political rival of the sitting president of the United States, as you did. Just unbelievable stuff. Last night, Donald Trump announced on Truth Social he's going to be slapping a tariff on Mexico and Canada, saying in a post, quote, "As everyone is aware, thousands of people are pouring through Mexico and Canada, bringing crime and drugs at levels never seen before. Right now, a caravan coming from Mexico composed of thousands of people seems to be unstoppable in its quest to come through our currently open border on January 20th. As one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Both Mexico and Canada have had the absolute right and power to easily solve this long simmering problem. We hereby demand that they use this power until such time as they do so. It's time for them to pay a very big price." Meanwhile, saber rattling continues at NATO. Here's Admiral Rob Bauer on the possibility of war in Russia.
Over the past 2.5 years, I've been going around boardrooms, finance conferences, and even philanthropic institutions in Europe and America to persuade people to think about 2 questions. One, is my company or organization ready for war? And 2, what can my company or organization do to prevent war? Now, that last question might surprise some people. But if we can make sure that all crucial services and goods can be delivered no matter what, then that is a key part of our deterrence.
So that is one of the admirals of NATO. He's in the Royal Netherlands Navy. That's Robert Bauer, speaking yesterday about how businesses need to be prepared for war and adjust their production and distribution lines accordingly. Now, of course, this is saber rattling at its finest, but Bauer also went on to criticize the United States and the rest of the West's radical green climate agenda.
So we have become naive. We sold all the mines. We were only busy in getting rich, and nobody was thinking strategically about, hey, maybe we should have a number of those mines. As I said, 90% is in the hands of the raw materials for renewable energy is in the hands of China. If she doesn't, I mean, the EU wants to go 2030, 2035. When are we gone? Oh, 35? Everybody is on renewable. 11 years from now. 11 years from now, in 2035, she does this.
This NATO flag makes a symbol with his hand for turning the spigot off.
What does that mean for us here in this part of the world? When he wants something else from us, when he's annoyed by what we do, and then people say, yeah, but he has all the mines now. Now, Rand Corporation CEO said to me, the rare earth materials are actually not necessarily that rare. You can find them in Canada, in Sweden, in Finland, and Norway. But then we have to dig a mine. And that's also against the environment. And all these choices have consequences. That's my point. And if the focus is only on saving the planet, then we forget the raw reality of what the world is also thinking about. And so we have to become more realistic.
Once again, that is Admiral Bauer of NATO warning the West, speaking at the European Policy Center, warning the West, particularly Western businesses, that they've become stupid and naive for completely abandoning traditional and yesteryear supply chains in favor of radical green agendas. But as he said these comments, I think there's a case to be made why thermonuclear war might not be a bad thing. More on that at the end of today's episode. Once again, checking in on Joe Biden at the annual turkey pardon. He's doing very well.
That trip's 1,100 miles. It takes 16.5 hours. Through it all, they stayed calm. They gobbled on and still gobbling. They stayed nice listening to their favorite music, which apparently includes the song "Living on a Prayer."
He's gone. I want you to listen to this. This is a supposed journalist and CEO of the publication Axios speaking at the National Press Club over the weekend. What he says here is extremely instructive. Of course, Elon Musk, in the aftermath of the election, has been going on a tear on his own social media platform, X, talking about how users of X are now the media, how they have replaced the mainstream media. Here's Jim Vandehei, CEO of Axios, saying, "No, that's not the case. I'm still relevant, damn you."
Matters. Everything we do is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day, or X today, saying like, "We are the media. You are the media." My message to Elon Musk is bullshit. You're not the media. You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle, and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter any more than me looking at your head and seeing that you have a brain and telling you have an awesome set of tools makes me a damn neurosurgeon.
So, setting aside the fact that Mr. Vandehei, the CEO of Axios and a journalist himself, setting aside the fact that he believes that neurosurgeons and journalists are basically the same thing, setting that aside, what does it say that somebody like that even has to come out and say, no, we're the journalists, not you. No, please, we're relevant. That's what, okay, he may be saying a lot of words there, but at the heart of the matter, that's exactly what he's communicating. No, please, no, I still matter. We're still here. We're still relevant. Please don't forget about us. The very fact that he has to say that means that Elon Musk, and saying that X is now the media, he's absolutely right. More from blue states mayors. Here is the mayor of Denver, Colorado, Mr. Johnson, saying he's willing to put his life on the line to make sure illegals have a place to stay and continue to be a drain on local resources.
I would certainly protest it, and I would expect other residents would do the same.
Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, has said that he is willing to arrest leaders like yourself for standing in the way of these policies that they want to enact. Would you be willing to go to jail for these things?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of that. And I'm also not seeking that. I think the goal is we want to be able to negotiate with reasonable people how to solve hard problems. Republican and Democratic presidents in the past have all tried to find solutions to these problems. President Reagan helped people get access to work so they could stay and support themselves. Biden and Harris worked on restricting entry at the border to close down. There are a lot of ways to approach this problem.
So that is Denver Mayor Mike Johnston talking about how he's willing to go to jail to make sure that illegals in his city of Denver are able to stay a drain on local resources. I'm sure when you hear J.B. Pritzker or California Governor Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker's Illinois governor, and the mayors of various sundry cities like Denver's mayor you just heard there, I'm sure some of that is political posturing, but I maintain that these guys are going to do all they possibly can to be a stick in the mud. They would love nothing more than the photo op of themselves getting arrested. They would love nothing more than to use their own local law enforcement to do everything they can to even physically, to the point of physical encounters, get in the way of Tom Homan and the Department of Homeland Security's mass deportation effort. It is going to be something. It's not just political posturing 100%, although I'm sure that's part of it. They are going to do everything they can. I don't know what that is. I'm sure they're going to use their imagination, but I do believe that some of these blue state mayors and governors are going to do and attempt to become a roadblock that could have ramifications. Here's some other news from around the country. Macy's announced Monday that a single employee was responsible for so many accounting irregularities that the company was forced to delay its quarterly earnings report, which the retailer had planned to release today. The company recently discovered that the unnamed employee intentionally hid as much as $154 million in expenses over the course of nearly 3 years, prompting the retailer to conduct an independent forensic accounting investigation. The employee, whom Macy's says is no longer with the company, intentionally made erroneous accounting accrual entries to hide small package delivery expenses. Macy's did not say why the employee hid the expenses, although the questionable expenses were a small fraction of the over $4 billion in delivery expenses Macy's recognized between the fourth quarter of 2021 through its most recent period. Macy's found the errors were significant enough to delay reporting its full quarterly earnings until December 11th. The company said there is, quote, no indication that the erroneous accounting accrual entries had any impact on the company's cash management activities or vendor payments. This story caught my eyes. How is it possible in any corporation that a single employee is able to hide $154 million in anything, especially expenses? How is that even possible? Macy's got some explaining to do. J.K. Rowling has been defended by American production firm HBO after Zoomers launched a pile on the Harry Potter author over reviews on so-called trannies. The company has been inundated with complaints for years now about Rowling serving as an executive producer on the new Harry Potter TV series. In a statement to Variety, HBO said, quote, we are proud to once again tell the story of Harry Potter, the heartwarming books that speak to the power of friendship, resolve, and acceptance. J.K. Rowling has a right to express her personal views. We will remain focused on the development of the new series, which will only benefit from her involvement, end quote. The decision to adapt Rowling's novels has faced criticism from numerous fans, with many calling another adaptation unnecessary. They're probably right about that, by the way. Others have stated they plan to boycott the project. They won't, due to the author's comments about so-called trannies. So good for HBO. Maybe it's the latest indication of the pushback to woke. It didn't just end with the election. Maybe it's just getting going. Good on HBO for doing the right thing and standing by J.K. Rowling. Although I will reiterate, we do not need a Harry Potter TV show. And finally, why thermonuclear war might not be a bad thing. Here's economist, a geopolitical expert, Damian Slash. Listen to this and let me know what you think.
3 reasons why nuclear war is actually a good thing. Number 1, nuclear war would allow us to reset our current power structures, doing away with capitalism, patriarchy, and systemic racism, and replacing them with a more equitable, progressive system that reflects the kind of people we are and the kind of world we want to build. This great reset would also include sustainability. This brings us to point number 2. Nuclear war would be brilliant for the environment. With a massively reduced human population, the carbon footprint would drop hugely, allowing the planet to thrive and nature to recover from hundreds of years of human damage. Point number 3, of course, speaks for itself. With a nuclear conflict in the next couple of weeks, this would mean Donald Trump doesn't get into office. And if you consider the amount of damage that Donald Trump will do once he gets into office, this pales in comparison to a nuclear war. We must stand with Ukraine to the bitter end, and the time has come to use nuclear weapons against Russia. If that happens, if we have a nuclear war, you might be surprised that blessings come in mysterious packages.
That, of course, is satire from online content creator Damian Slash. 3 reasons why nuclear war might not be a bad thing. I wasn't sure if that was parody or satire until the last point, which was it would prevent Donald Trump from taking office, which the damage he's going to do would pale in comparison to a thermal. That's some good stuff. What do you think? Just kidding. All right, we'll be back at it again tomorrow. One more episode before we're off for the rest of the week for Thanksgiving. Like I said, hope you have a wonderful day. See you on Wednesday. I'm Aaron McIntyre, and this is the AM Update.